As the release of Blade and Sorcery multiplayer and Battle Talent multiplayer is here for both of the games and both of the updates, I thought it was only fair to do an updated video on a comparison of both of those game modes specifically. Now, before you're thinking, why you're not including Bone Lab Fusion, as the game hasn't really updated the multiplayer mod for that yet, I'm not really going to be including it as it's not really playable with the patch 4 update at this moment in time. At the minute right now, multiplayer mod on Blade and Sorcery and multiplayer update on Battle Talent VR is possible to do now, so that's what we're going to be focusing on this video. But in an expected turn, Battle Talent's multiplayer update took everyone by surprise, but in that turn of events, it was one of the most featured updates available to be able to go and create and do, and the Battle Talent team did amazing with it. Yes, I will admit it does have its cons of being a little bit laggy when you spawn too many weapons in, but the Blade and Sorcery multiplayer mod is quite similar as well. It's not as built up as the Battle Talents one, as it's had a dev team to go and actually take its time to develop it and make sure it's stable enough to play with multiple people. With the both mod and the actual update to Battle Talent, with the Blade and Sorcery, I'd say you could probably play up to 3 people before it starts lagging, and in Battle Talent you can play with a full lobby of 4 or more, and it will not be laggy. As long as you don't spawn too many weapons in, I don't think that's too bad. With Battle Talent, you are able to attack the NPCs and also attack the other players that join the game. It is possible to kill them with magic or weapons. Blade and Sorcery, it's still a little bit buggy as the mainframe of the multiplayer still works, but it's just not there enough as only one person's doing it. Which, don't get me wrong, it's pretty understandable, but in terms of the actual achievements of it, it's pretty amazing that we've still got both of these game modes possible on both games. Both equally amazing and both unique in their own ways at this point. And I do think it's incredible that we still are able to do this, so if you didn't want to play solo player, you have a chance of playing with a number of people, which doesn't have to be too big. Blade and Sorcery, the Adamantium multiplayer mod, is only being made by one developer, but it's still functional and it's been made possible for 3 updates now, with U11, U12 and 1.0 the final update. And Battle Talent, never I thought in a million years it was actually going to get multiplayer, but the fact that they did it and they achieved it well is so freaking impressive. But in terms of the quality of each update, I say Battle Talent definitely has the more improved version of it, as it's not a mod, it's actually a part of the game now, and with the range of content and environments it gives for the multiplayer fights, it's pretty incredible. And in terms of the UI menu for both, the Blade and Sorcery's UI is the right square at the bottom of the screen that you see every time that I load in and play Blade and Sorcery. The lobbies are there and you pretty much just have to hope for the best and see if anyone's actually joined any of the lobbies. Usually with this, it's the first arena in the US or European button where there usually is people, and maybe 1 or 2 randoms that you might see in there, but otherwise from that you don't really get much people in it. It's a give or take depending on what time zone that you're in. Battle Talent VR, on the other hand, it's got its own UI hub where you can see how many people are in each lobby, you can see which are private, you can see which are public, and you can host and create your own ones, similar to Blade and Sorcery's multiplayer. The only factor that you got to bring into both of these games is when you join the multiplayer lobbies or the hubs that you create for people to join, you're going to have the different weapons because they're not the same weapons for both games. And obviously there's going to be the different avatars with a more humanized aspect in Blade and Sorcery with the realistic physics, and for Battle Talent the obvious dungeon main character look with the mask and the dungeon slaying cape and swords and armor. Similar with that, but just with a different colored cape. A lot of people will argue that one's either better than the other, Battle Talent's better, Blade and Sorcery's better, but they're both at the point now where they're fully developed enough where you can definitely tell it's not the same game. It has similarities with some of the mechanics and maybe some of the weapons, but it's not the same game and they're not exactly copying off each other at that point. If you flash back to a year or 6 months back when both of the games were at very different stages, you could probably say otherwise, but at this point now, with the amount of features that they both got and what they offer to bring, 5 different game modes for Battle Talent and 2 different game modes for Blade and Sorcery for different purposes. Both have sandbox. Battle Talent has mixed reality, and it also has a mixed reality feature for multiplayer if you're playing with somebody on the same WAN or LAN servers. And if you do have a Quest 3 or a Quest 2 and you are thinking of getting a PC, or you already have a PC and you don't know specifically which multiplayer you want to try first, they're both great in their own ways, they honestly are, but I guess now at this point it is just up to choice, because both games both offer different things. If you enjoy the dungeon aspect of VR and maybe not too much realism, Battle Talent will be a game.
Слушать
But
вот
then,
эту
if you
вот
want a
всю
little bit
днюху
more
о том,
realism
какая
and you
она
want to have
распиздатая,
some
бля, и
action
какая она
that
нихуя
feels a
не...
bit like real life, Blade and
Имеется
Sorcery
в виду,
may be
по-другому,
your
я
one you want to go
поняла,
for.
короче, про
The
чё.
multiplayer mode unfortunately isn't there yet, up to the point where Battle Talent's multiplayer mod is,
Took my dad
but I'd
knows
say they're at the
and my
point where
spouse.
both stable enough and both good enough games where they can both handle either one of them. But as always folks, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'm really curious what you guys think. Which module multiplayer is better? Battle Talent or Blade and Sorcery? And next time we will cover the Bone Lab Future mod when it is out in patch 4 and patch 5.
Thanks, gravity. Got her by the head. Now. I might command you. Watch out! That is